Yo, Jordan's up, dude. All right, man. So I'm gonna jump right into this. We're gonna start off with how I even just got a piece of property. If you want to build, you gotta get some property to build on. Then you probably got to do some feasibility studies on it. So I've had a few questions about just even getting started on what the heck to do for feasibility. What that even means? Uh, I guess it just starts out with when you even get the property, how you find stuff. For me, I jumped into a home or a filter setup on Zillow or Redfin, and I just set my filters to exactly what I wanted. Only ping me, only email me if there's a property with over 5 acres and has power and water available already. That's it. Power and water to me are like number one because usually you can work out the septic stuff, but power sometimes will be a freaking long ways up the street. And that's a big expense. It can make or break it can add 50 to 100 grand, I would say, in a project that you just need to get power up a dirt road that's 1,000 feet long. You don't know. And then water. Where are the streams next to your property? If there's any water issues, in Washington we get quite a bit of that. At least in Pacific Northwest we do. And then can you get water for yourself? So right off the bat, you get a notification that pings you that says there's a property that's available, so you schedule a call with your realtor and go check it out. By the way, if you don't know this already, but you'll probably want to get talking to your realtor about a approval letter, which will verify your credit if you're going to go with a home loan and then or a construction loan. In order for them to fund you, they usually give you a pre-authorized letter that says, yeah, you're approved for X amount of dollars. So you'll need to give that to your realtor so that they can actually make an official offer for you when you say pull the trigger. So yeah, in feasibility, you basically set up your filters and you get that done first. So you find the property you want, go check it out. We found ours, and we uh, uh, we made an offer basically the same day. We love the property so much. Had power, had water. Don't know about the other stuff yet, but I put down some money, and then we got to do what we needed to do for feasibility. So I think we closed ours in 30 days, which is pretty dang ridiculous, at least for land. Um, so first things first, I jump onto your Kitsap County parcel search, and no matter where you live, for me in Jordan at least, we have one area that we're familiar with where we can look up any information about that property. It'll show usually the contours, so it'll show whether there's any steep slopes around that you didn't notice. It'll show any streams that are close by for the county, or any other hazardous areas that you should be aware about. Um, so do that. Do that right off the bat and see if you have any easement issues getting up to the property or having to create one. Um, that's a challenge I didn't really have to deal with on this one, but for a lot of people they might. Um, and then site development. Most properties need and are not fully developed, ready to go to build a house on. They'll need to either knock down the trees, make a flat spot out of kind of a slope to put a foundation in or something like that. So in our case, we had a very flat area already cleared for a house, so it worked out great. Um, if you look at the property, you'll probably need to do geological. So we had a flat spot, yay, but on the east and west sides, we have some slopes that are really, really steep. Probably about as steep as this drawing as I have open here. We're talking 30 to 40% grade. So out of obvious reasons, called the geotechnical engineer. It's about $750. He'll come out and poke around with a T probe and then tell you whether you have good or bad soil, what you need to do about it. So we have great soils. And he approved, normally I think it's 40 feet setback from the side, but we got approved for 20 to 25 feet from top of slope. So that worked out for us well. Let's see, the site development overall and the geo, that goes hand in hand. Water, we were on a shared well. I'm glad I looked up at least where the water was coming from. That was one of my stipulations because um, after calling just in case we had to get our own, I called our well driller, the local well driller, and he said wells in our area were upwards of a 400-foot range down, which at $30 a foot is pretty expensive. So that adds up quickly, and who knows if you're going to hit water. In Washington, you'll probably hit water. There's a lot of aquifers around here, but for the most part, you'll probably run into one of those. So just wanted to show you what it looked like for us. Here's the property here. There's me, my kiddos, our nice view. And then this is what sold us. We made an offer. And then we up the road. Here's the road. If I can zoom in a little more here. Up this road goes the water line down the middle. And I don't know where this water line runs. I don't know. There's no way for me to test it. I didn't know where it ran. So I actually called in a utility locate, which in our area I think is 811. And then you order a bunch of people who have any history of doing utilities out in that area, and they'll come out and spray paint areas where they find their stuff or not stuff. And on the road, you just got to make sure you put in LOC there with some arrows telling the people that this is where you want to draw up your or where you want the utility people to come out and probe for utilities. So this is free, by the way. It's a free service, doesn't cost anything. So yeah, if you have any questions about that, you can probably just call your local people directly, the ones that maybe provide power. In our case, it's Puget Sound Energy. And then we have natural gas up there too. So they called already, but I called additionally Cascade Natural Gas and just gathered as much information as I could on the property. And then power, they tell you where the power is. There's a power pole right there, front and center, in the on the lot that was obvious and set up. A temporary power pole, so that had been there for quite some time and still looked like it functions. So that was a plus. And then off to the right here, there's a stream. There's actually a fish-bearing stream, and on the east side of the property, there's a stream too. So if you notice any water or maybe wetland areas, then you'll probably need a biology study done. It's also about $750 to get a feasibility done. It'll just tell you whether things are going to cause you problems later, and how to mitigate that and what the setbacks are. So you can call the county and ask them what the setbacks are for a fish-bearing stream. And I think it's 160 feet for a fish-bearing stream. And then there's some other little things on top of that, like for a road. This over here is a fish-bearing stream, but the road, since it's existing, I found out from the county that it is a natural block, I guess, or something like that, where you don't have to, where the setback stops at the road. So that was cool. And then on the east side, we had a stream that was, let's see, I think it was over 160 feet away, but it was at the top. It was in the bottom of a ravine, making it a stream and ravine. So we had a setback from that, which was 25 feet from top of slope. So those are all little things to be aware. I'm glad we figured all that out, because if we would have went with a nice wide home right up to top of slope, then we would run into some setback issues, and the county would have complained after I had done all the work on designing and drawing my home that I think is going to fit there. So yeah, I think the last one was just going over septic. $450. Call your local septic company. They'll come out and do feasibility. They just tell you what kind of system you're going to have. They'll dig a bunch of perk holes in areas where you think or they think is a good spot to put a drain field. And around here it varies a lot. We have one side of the property that was going to qualify for a pressure distribution system. That's upwards of $20,000 or more. And then in our case, the other side of the property qualified for a pump to gravity. So that's like I don't know, I guess a $12,000 system, and maintenance free. You don't have to pay for operation and maintenance every year. So that all adds up, you know. Yeah, that's feasibility. I don't think there's anything else to go through other than, well, I guess the road. If you have a road that's skinny and narrow, you should probably talk to your local fire marshal about what those setbacks are. Otherwise, you might need a sprinkler system in your house. And on new builds, it seems like more and more, if you find some property that's pretty good and has a skinny little road or a dirt road to get to it, it's not going to be wide enough for a fire truck. So in our case, we weren't. I think the minimum is 20 feet all the way up to your property with a 80-foot or something like that turn around. I think that's an 80-foot radius. So yeah, otherwise you need a sprinkler system. As for that, I think that just we need to figure out what home we want them to have up there. We need to have a home kind of in mind to make sure it would fit on our property. In our case, nothing that I could find was narrow enough that we were happy enough on any of the plans you buy online, so we just drew it up ourselves. And I used a program called ProjCAD. It's kind of rip off of AutoCAD, but it's only 500 bucks, and it does the same thing. So I drew up all my plans here. I'll get into these in another video. Let me know if you have questions about this stuff. So with that, talk to you later.